Having said that, and given the appropriate accommodations where they belong, I will tell you that last night began with a meeting at the Anthony home between myself and George and Cindy. George did not show up at 4 o'clock as planned. He went out for an interview yesterday morning, and we went ahead and we began to talk without George. And about 7:30, we had dinner and began to get worried about George not returning text messages and phone calls. As the evening went on, we were aware of some pictures that were missing, some medication that was gone, and at that point, the decision was made to call Sergeant John Allen. We did that knowing that had we called 911, the typical protocol would have been to wait 24 hours and let them know. Had we waited the 24 hours, again, this would be a different conversation. Sergeant Allen immediately responded, his team responded, and within a number of hours, they were able to locate George using cell towers, pinging his phone, and a GPS location system that was on his phone. When they did locate him, he was in a motel, and he had consumed some medications, and as I'm told, some alcohol. I don't know where that information is coming from, and I can't verify it, except to say that I trust in the source, and we'll reveal that now, so that there's no additional speculation. George is well. He's fine. He's resting. He's in Halifax, and I should be there with him now. But I'm taking this time to inform you and the public of what happened, so that in hopes that you will give him a little bit of space and let him get through the next few days without constant attention and constant questions. I think I've covered everything that I need to say, so I'm going to take some questions.
Brad, the new information that came out...
Just let's go one at a time. I'll give everybody a chance.
That came out this week in the discovery evidence, some of the details of the items that were found with Kaylee's remains, did that contribute to George's despondency this week?
No, it did not, because George and Cindy have not reviewed that. That's my job. And it's my job because they don't want to know every detail. This is very, very difficult. They don't want to know every detail. My job is to look through it and let them know what they need to know as I go through documents and as I go through discovery. So George was not aware of what's in the discovery other than what's in the media. And they try very hard not to watch TV and not to listen to all the speculation and the rampant rumors.
What was the last time somebody had seen George yesterday? Have you been able to speak to George yet? What was his condition, his feelings, that type of thing?
I have not spoken to George yet. Cindy has spoken to him, and if you ask George how he's doing, he will always tell you he's okay. He's not okay. He's been through something that has affected his life, his wife's life, his daughter's life, and his granddaughter is gone. And so he is not okay. But he will be okay. He's recovering from last night. He's with us.
You say he would not have been with us. At least that's the way you implicate it. Have they not?
I am looking at it as though he would not be with us, and that this would be a different story. At the very least, it would have gone further. At worst, George would not be with us, but for the efforts of the law enforcement agencies that I mentioned.
What was the last time that somebody saw George yesterday?
I know that he left the house at about 8:30 in the morning, and he did come back around 10:30, but that was the last time that he was seen.
Any other indications during the day at any point that he might not have been in such a good place?
No, and that was why. That's why we did not get concerned until 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and as the next couple hours went on, that concern grew.
Between 7:30 and when you guys called John Allen, had you had any sort of response from George?
No, it wasn't until about 11:30 at night that we started getting text messages, and of course, that was a relief because we knew that he was okay. but we did not know where he was, and we assumed that he would be in Orange County. In fact, he was not. He was in Daytona, and there was no reason that we knew of for him to be in Daytona Beach.
No significance to that hotel?
I'm not going to get specific with the text messages other than to say that they gave us great concern, and they did indicate that he was despondent and depressed and was not in a good place.
What are the pictures that he took with him?
A picture of Kaylee and a picture of his wife and daughter.
So no significance then for Daytona or that motel? Or?
No, sir.
Brad, do you think that the fact that he...
First of all, just for an understanding, did he commit himself under Florida's Baker Act? Did the law enforcement put on a Baker Act? Or what's the status of that?
The law enforcement officers did that, and the status of it is unknown right now. I'll be over there after we're done talking, and I'll speak with his doctors, and we'll determine what to do from here.
And my other question is, with full understanding that mental illness is a real illness, people who see this can conclude that he can't accept that his daughter was guilty of a murder of his grandchild. How would you respond to people who make that conclusion?
I would respond to people right now, and I know that people are not going to like this, but I'm going to tell you flat out, Casey Anthony is presumed to be innocent. And this is the greatest country in the world, and we have constitutional rights that are in place. And as we sit here and talk, and again, people will not like me saying this, but I don't care. I've been practicing criminal defense for going into 17 years. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in our rights. And as we talk, as we sit here today, Casey Anthony is presumed to be innocent. The state attorney's office has a job to do, and Lawson Lamar has his best prosecutors on the job. Sheriff's office has their best investigators on the job. One of those is Sergeant John Allen. The FBI is involved. And they've all got their job to do. That job is to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And a jury will decide whether Casey Anthony is guilty or not guilty. Not us, not the public, but a jury of her peers. So let's wait until that happens and not presume her to be guilty, but let's honor this country and the Constitution and the people that have fought and died for it, the people that are in Iraq and Afghanistan and across the world right now, men and women that are fighting for other countries, other people, to have those democratic rights and principles. So let's honor them and let's let a jury of her peers decide that.
How is Cindy doing at this point?
Have you been able to talk to Cindy, and how is she doing? This has got to be an emotional train wreck for her.
This is an emotional roller coaster. Cindy is, she's doing well now because she knows her husband is all right. There were a number of hours last night for all of us that were difficult is an understatement. There's the immediate worry, and then when we realized medications were gone and pictures were gone, there was the obvious assumption that something was terribly wrong. And when we couldn't get to him and couldn't get a message back from him, we knew that something had to be done, and that was reaching out to John Allen. And of course, there's always the fear that he's going to say, well, protocol is wait 24 hours, and he did not do that, which is why Sergeant Allen and his team deserve such a great recognition.
There was word about some kind of note that he left behind?
I don't know about that. I heard that on through the media, but I can't confirm that.
Brad, sources have told us that in the suicide note, which wasn't finished when they found George, he had staunchly defended Casey's innocence and even made some comments suggesting that some of Casey's friends may have been involved in Kaylee's death. Is that what George and Cindy are thinking at this point? I mean, everybody wonders at this point, are they still staunchly believing in their daughter's innocence?
They don't know. They don't know. And none of us know. The state attorney's office has released discovery documents. I think this case will rest largely on forensic evidence, and that hasn't been released. But again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, which is going to probably be unpopular, which is she's presumed to be innocent. Let's stay with that. Let's do the right thing and stay with that idea. So if we as the public can look at it and understand that those are our rights, not just Casey Anthony's, but those are our rights. What is wrong with the Anthonys also presuming her to be innocent until they know otherwise?
Would you go as